on 531 VI.
It is 22 minutes past 7 o'clock for Tuesday, the 26th of August. Great to be in your company this morning. Now to some positive news this morning. The government says its Pacific Healthy Homes initiative is already making a real difference, with more than 300 Pacific households supported over the past year alone through things like insulation, heating and ventilation. It's now been extended with another $1 million in funding. But is that enough given the scale of housing challenges our communities face? Pacific People's Minister Dr. Reti joins me now. Maloile Minister, thanks for your time.
My Lord, well, good to see you.
This is positive news. Do you want to talk me through it?
Yeah, sure. So the Pacific Healthy Homes Initiative is an initiative I started last year, building on the existing Healthy Homes initiatives, but fine-tuning it for Pasifika. More specifically, what it does is it adds that older Pasifika age group, those over 45, who have had a hospital admission. It adds that to the eligibility criteria, primarily focused through Auckland and Porirua, and it had a marvellous year last year. We're having the impact of that assessed by academics at Otago, so we have before and after, but I'm not wanting to wait for that assessment and have rolled the program through for another year while we're waiting for that impact analysis.
That's great news in itself. All right. I mean, look, how do you, I suppose, measure the real impact this initiative has had on Pacific families' day-to-day lives? As has been pointed out, 300 households supported so far.
Sure. So this is part of what the Otago team will do. But what we know is that with healthy home initiatives, that if we can make homes warmer and healthier, that children are more likely to go to school. They're less likely to present at emergency departments. People are less likely to need time off work. These are all the findings with the standard Healthy Homes Initiative. Now we're looking to see what particular benefits we can give to Pasifika through the Pasifika Healthy Homes Initiative.
Awesome. Okay. Well, with all of that in mind, as you did highlight, particularly in areas of South Auckland and Porirua, why those areas?
Oh, because amongst other things, that's where we have clusters of Pasifika, obviously,
Sure.
but also the providers who can provide the ventilation and the support services actually do the work tend to cluster in those two areas. So that's why they're located there.
And how do you prioritise, or I suppose what's the criteria for this when you know, for this kind of support when I'm sure the need is so great?
Sure. So the criteria is based on the initial Healthy Homes criteria, which comes from Health New Zealand, which says if you've had a child with rheumatic fever or pregnancy in a low-income household or have had children turn up with what's called ASH, ambulatory sensitive hospital admissions, that is, you've been to an ED,
Sure.
then you qualify for the Standard Healthy Homes Initiative. There are other parts of government that have qualifications or contribute into this area if you're low income. And what we've added is a Pasifika flavour to that, as I mentioned, saying that if you're older Pasifika, over 45, and have also been admitted to hospital for what was a preventative condition, then you qualify for the Pasifika Healthy Homes Initiative.
Perhaps a naive question, but in terms of the housing stock that the support is going to, are these rentals state-owned? I mean, can you give us some insight there?
The majority are owned,
Okay.
so they're homeowners. There are a few rentals, but the majority are homeowners.
Okay, wow. Okay, so you mentioned insulation, heating, minor repairs. Are these quick fixes or will they create long-term change?
Oh, they'll create long-term change. Some of them can take, as you'll understand, can take a bit of time to remedy. But even simple things like draft management, broken windows have a huge impact on families.
Sure.
And certainly some of the anecdotal information and feedback that we receive is that it has made a big difference in many Pasifika people's lives.
Look, it's hard to, if I'm honest, it's hard to find criticism in an announcement like this, but to play devil's advocate, the program has received nearly $4 million so far, with another $1 million committed. Is that realistically enough to meet demand?
Look, one could say that there may never be enough to meet demand because
Sure.
there could always be homes that are going to need attention. What it does say is that while we're waiting for the analysis on the first year, that we're going to keep moving because we see enough in the program and have had enough feedback to say this is a good thing. We shouldn't stop and wait. We'll keep moving, and then when we get that analysis, we'll figure out what the next step might be.
Indeed. As mentioned, in terms of we've seen the support in areas like Auckland and in Porirua. Are there other areas though that are missing out?
Yes, there are other areas that are missing out. In fact, wherever Pacifica people are who may be in homes that may not be as healthy as they could be. But we do need to, first of all, show the impact,
Sure.
and we need to be in areas where there are providers who can actually provide the services. So that at this point, that piece of work is primarily in South Auckland and Porirua.
Given that people are missing out then, or areas are missing out, doesn't that, plead the case for more money?
Look, I'm sure it does. As I say, I'm sure that however much we put in could be consumed, but we also need to be as effective as we can, and we need to prove the case that we have made a difference, which I believe we have, and then we can look at how we might expand.
No, indeed, it is a positive announcement. Okay, look, Prime Minister Christopher Luxon yesterday said he wanted to see modest increases to house prices. Inevitably, that kind of sounds like an out-of-touch comment, don't you think?
No, because there's a number of reasons for that. First of all, we know that there's what's generally called, as I understand economists call it, the wealth effect. Sorry, are you there, Will?
Yes, yep.
Okay, you just blanked out on me. Sorry about that. The wealth effect, that is, that when there are some increases in house prices, people feel more confident about their financial situation, so they're more likely to go out and support the economy, which is a good thing. So there is that comment, but there's also comments, of course, that both him and the Minister of Finance have made around wanting to see an economy that supports people having money, which makes it easier to attend to mortgages. Of course, we're very pleased with the falling OCR and how that puts more money into people's pockets. And so appropriate and gradual rises to house prices is generally considered to be a good thing.
Sure. I mean, though, through your capacity as Pacific People's Minister, no doubt you're aware in terms of Pacific households, home ownership is already so low. Won't this just further shut them out of the market by having modest increases?
No, because one could anticipate that they'll also have modest increases in their disposable income because interest rates have fallen. So one would see a balance there.
I mean, this whole argument in terms of wage growth being able to meet said demand or to meet the housing price increases. Let's be honest. I mean, is wage growth even, even viable, or is it even happening?
So wage growth is one contributor, but as I've mentioned, falling interest rates is a
Sure.
significant contributor. And we know that there's, more than maybe 40 to 50% of the population are due to refinance in this next 6 months from a previously significantly higher interest rate down to the rates we're seeing here today.
Mm,
And on some models, depending on how much the loan is, for example, that'll
mm.
be hundreds of dollars in people's pockets per week.
Yeah, I see the point you're making. Look, just very quickly on the Pacific Islands Forum, just in your capacity as, of course, the Pacific People's Minister, it looks like a bit of a mess, if I'm honest. What's your assessment of PIF?
Oh, PIF is very important to us. We absolutely believe in the primacy of PIF, that it is the premier aggregation of Pacific Island interests in Pacific Island countries.
Mm.
And, like when you have any family, there can always be discussions and disagreements, but we believe that the unanimity, that holding PIF together is really important for us as a region and really important for us as individual countries. So we're very strong. We remain very strong supporters
Mm.
of the Pacific Islands Forum.
Uh, you know, is unity at stake here in terms of you've had nations come out threatening to boycott next month's event. I mean, it all seems like a bit of a cacophony of noise. What's your perspective on that? I mean, is unity under threat?
Look, we've had that before. There's been some PIFs where we maybe haven't had the whole team together, but we have to believe and we have to support that we are stronger together as a region, and that's the position New Zealand has carried forward and will carry forward, and we'll do whatever we need to do to bring other family members together.
Indeed. Minister, thank you very much for your time and, of course, for carrying the important portfolio. Appreciate your work.
Thank you, Will. Ki pai tō rā.
Cheers. That is, of course, our Pacific People's